Boxing Day, what heritage is all about. And for the first time this season, the FPL Addicts doing a deadline stream. Welcome to the Gameweek 18 edition of the FPL Addicts podcast. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be watching our beloved podcast around the world. More importantly, I hope you all had such a fabulous Christmas. It is one of the sacred days on the footballing calendar we have officially arrived at now, it being Boxing Day. 8 games, short turnarounds. We also got a game week just coming right up after 18 is concluded too, along with game week 20 on the other side of the new year. There's so much to play out and a lot to discuss. Now, there isn't anyone to introduce at the moment because Reidy's taking his time, trying to go close to the hour as possible. But for me, I was just keen to get started. It's been such a unique last few days, especially trying to find replacements for those who own Bukayo Saka, in which Mikel Arteta has ruled him out for many weeks, which could probably be till March. But what do we do with him exactly, and what direction do we go down? There's a few replacements we'd like to discuss on today's edition, both some being over 7 million, some being under 7 million. Where do the priorities sit exactly? Without further ado, let's see who is on the dial. Now, Miriam, as always, thank you very much for showing up. So, but before, I would like to apologise for the miscommunication for Monday's edition because it's just how it was, and unfortunately, no one really got around to it. But now he's here. We'll try to come as quick as possible. G'day, good morning to you.
Good morning, Chaza. How are we doing? All good?
Oh, mate, I'm still in awe from the Gavin and Stacey finale, if anything.
Oh, okay. I wasn't expecting that, but yeah, I've heard it was... it was almost like a big thing, finale. Did it deliver? Did it live up to?
I did. Yeah. Geez, it had me on the edge of the seat.
Oh, amazing. I mean, is that it now? Is that it done? 100%?
Yeah, that's it done, yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh no. No, but in general though, I'm good, thank you. Did you have a good Christmas?
Yeah, great Christmas, mate. Really enjoyed it. Ended up having two Christmas dinners. Yeah. Absolute belter made by the missus. Can't complain. And then literally later on, sat down after all the chaos and the games and whatever, and then tucked into another roast dinner. It was beautiful.
Wow.
Just as good the second time around. So yeah, how was yours, bud? Did you get all the trimmings? A few pigs in blankets?
Yeah. I think so. I didn't quite have 2 dinners, but if you include 2 servings in the same household, then yeah, I was just sat down there for seconds, wiping the floor.
Wiping the floor, mopping it up, isn't it?
Yeah, mopping it up, yeah. Oh, mate, it's so strange, Christmas, because it's pretty much like, as Cole Palmer said on his video that was out yesterday, is that it's just a Sunday dinner, but on a Wednesday, just with pigs in blankets, just being its usual yearly appearance.
That's it. Yeah, it's absolutely great. Love it. More stuff coming today. More family stuff. More food.
Is it family stuff, or is it just a gathering of mates watching football?
No, family stuff. To be fair, I mean, obviously the football. I mean, of all days, obviously the football is all on TV. I won't say where it's on, just in case I'm not allowed or whatever. But it's all on in one place. All the games. Obviously. There's City Everton at a midday kickoff, early kickoff. The Gandhi, as people like to call it. If you're going to captain Haaland, if you still own Haaland, that is. I mean, what are you doing if you don't have Salah and you have Haaland? That's what I'll be saying. But yeah, there's a good few games on, isn't there? And are you going to be watching a few?
I will be, yes. I'll make sure I squeeze in everything I possibly can before the early kickoff, which includes going for a run in what is quite miserable weather here today.
Yeah, it's pretty grey. I'm not gonna lie. You know, I looked outside and I thought, Jesus, it's something bad about to happen. I mean, maybe a few captain blanks. Maybe that's what it's telling us. But you know, thankfully, all the Boxing Day festivities should be over by the time the most important game's on, Charlie, and that would be Liverpool v Leicester at 8 o'clock. So, you know, we'll see how the rest of the games go in the day. But I'm looking forward to it. Great day, Boxing Day. You know, all the football, all the sport, family time. You know, food. You just can't complain, can you, mate?
Yeah. As someone who's local too, how big is it in terms of having that ability to access all the games on Boxing Day? Because that's only come about, I think, within the last 2 years.
Yeah, I don't know why in particular. Whether it's just the way that the slots are picked, and that's when they decide to just chuck them all on. Because there are some, well, there has been this season anyway, some midweek games where they've all been on TV. So yeah, I mean, I can't complain. The more the merrier. No pun intended, but you know, the more the merrier. The more sort of games we've got, you know, available and being able to watch, and yeah, it's just great. It's great. But no games for you today to actually attend in person, Chaza, no?
No, I know 2 years ago I did the double header. It being Palace pulling off an absolute stinker at home to Fulham and then Arsenal against West Ham. That was 2 years ago. But mate, I'm so looking forward to a rest and just watching it in front of a big screen. Did you want to talk about previous game week as well? How
Let's go through it. Why not? Yeah,
there's one game I think a lot of people want to talk about, and that was Liverpool Tottenham. Now that was nuts.
I mean, I called it. Well, I say I called it. It wasn't a call. I mean, last week when we went through the fixtures, or no, I say last week, it probably wasn't even that long ago. But when we went through those fixtures and kind of looked at the standout games and all the rest of it, I kind of like was saying, you know, listen, that Liverpool Spurs game hasn't finished, you know, like 0-0, 1-1, low score line for a good long time. So it didn't fail to deliver. It was pretty bonkers, to be fair. And it ended up obviously 6-3. If you just go to the fixtures there, Chaza, or the results from last week. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Game week 17. Yeah, I mean, unbelievable. 6-3. Salah, 2 goals, 2 assists. If you're captain in an FPL, haul of 42 points. Just nuts, yeah. There was a few dud games in there, to be fair. I wasn't expecting no goals in the Fulham-Southampton game, but, you know, fair play to Southampton, getting a point at Craven Cottage. Not an easy place to go these days. Wolves, new manager bounce, 3-0, clean sheet. Jose Sarr, who I used to have.
He's back. Well, he never left.
Well, that's it, until he gets banned. Talk to me about sort of what you think about the likes of Villa beating Man City. I mean, that was a huge game already, and I think we did discuss it briefly last week on the pod. What's your thoughts on that one? I mean, did you see it? Have you seen any highlights, or generally, you know, general thoughts on it?
I'm not sure if I need to save and spill beans early, but I could sort of see it anticipating the way it went, because Villa just relish fixtures such as that. I believe John Duran should have scored twice inside the space of 5 minutes. He's turning out to be a really good budget striker at the moment.
Yeah, it's a strange one actually with Ollie Watkins. I mean, he's not been playing much lately, and I think that gives us a few signs that possibly Duran is maybe the number one pick. I mean, I know from an FPL perspective, people might not want to go there just because, you know, there's rotation or minutes or whatever it might be. But he's looking like a solid pick, especially for the price point. And, you know, depending on whether he starts today again, that would maybe tell us then that Ollie Watkins is out of favour. So 2-1, yeah. Villa have just 2-0 right until the end. I think Phil Foden grabbed a cheeky consolation, didn't he? But one team I want to mention, well, I suppose two in a way, because one of the teams is who you sport, but Forest, I mean, absolutely killing it. Actually, why are we stopping there? I mean, Forest are killing it away at Brentford, who haven't lost yet. Brian and Buemo couldn't score. And, you know, that man Alexander Isak returning again, 4-0 hammering from Newcastle. Arsenal, your team, Arsenal, 5-1 against Palace. Talk to me about that one, Chaza. Are you happy? You got to be happy with the results.
Happy with the result. I think that was an important statement. However, it did come at a cost, but we saw other players shine when they had to. So we kind of sport for choice in that area. But as a result of Bukayo Saka coming off early, and it's become a big talking point within the last few days, getting into detail shortly, we might be a bit short.
Yeah. I mean, possibly. I mean, I know a bit of praise has been put on Martinelli coming back in the side. Can he get more minutes now? Can he kind of, Arteta's got a decision to make on who he plays on the right-hand side in replace of, injured Saka, who's going to be out for a while. I mean, you've got Trossard, obviously, who can play on the left and the right. So I guess it's just, one of those decisions Arteta's got to make. And the good thing, the silver lining almost that Saka getting injured is that Jesus seems to be in a bit of form, right? And that couldn't have come at a better time in relation to the Saka injury. So, hopefully that kind of gets you through, or doesn't, obviously, because I'm a Liverpool fan. So I wouldn't mind you dropping some points, mate. But the last game I want to kind of touch on is United v Bournemouth. I mean, United, same old United, right? New manager. No bounce. I mean, there was a little mini bounce at the beginning, but getting beat at home to Bournemouth 3-0, shocking, right?
It's a fixture Bournemouth relish every time, and I genuinely believe Bournemouth are a good side this season with a spread of attackers they have. I'm not sure what it is. I think sometimes we just don't know who's going to deliver consistently in that team. I mean, it was also a disappointment for Evan Nielsen not getting anything out of that game. Kluivert scored yet again another penalty, but how often do penalties come for Bournemouth? But, that Chill guy, he's pretty good going. I think I like a defence more than anything.
Bournemouth's?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they've got a couple of good players in terms of midfield. I mean, Kluivert's been sort of cleaning up with the penalties lately, as you mentioned. Semenyo got on the score sheet, which hasn't happened as much lately. And if you've owned him in FPL, like I did, I kind of just binned him off. And I feel like it's still justified, even though he did get a return. But yeah, defensive-wise, I mean, clean sheet. You look at the likes of Kirkes, look at the likes of, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right here. Hausen, there we go. There's the man. These kind of players, they're not looking like bad options to go for in FPL. 3-0, clean sheet. I think it was a brilliant game week. I mean, looking at it at the beginning when we said, let's discuss the fixtures, and we talked about the Liverpool-Tottenham game, there's some absolute banger results in there, given that we did get a ball draw from Chelsea and Everton and Fulham and Southampton. But yeah, mate, there's the fixtures from last week, I guess.
Yes. Before we go to Mini League, we'd like to say hello to everyone. And John David, thank you very much for popping by yet again. I hope you had a great Christmas in whatever way you were celebrating. Big one, this. Saka to Odegaard. How do you rate Odegaard as a prospect?
I mean, it's a safe pick. If you want minutes, if you want potential pens now, or guaranteed pens, the Saka's out. I mean, Havertz is there. Obviously, you can take penalties, can't you, Charlie? You'll know that. But I feel like it's almost a kind of a safe pick, if you like. What I don't like is maybe that the fact that Odegaard hasn't been getting in those big attacking positions on the end of crosses or like shooting, and I don't know, is he ever going to be a captain pick? And I think it's the price point for me. I just don't like the fact that people they're not really getting a bang for their buck, in my opinion. And that's how I see it. I see it's a little bit of a flat move, and I think there are a few of the picks, albeit it is actually quite difficult to get someone who you really fancy for this run. Liverpool fixtures, and not too bad. And a certain Diego Jota is back for Liverpool now, who's tempting people. So yeah, what do you think of him, Odegaard? Do you like the pick?
Yes, but sometimes he goes on a streaky 10, 15 point hauls, and then he just doesn't deliver the fantasy output. He's a great team player, It's just more, what do we want as fantasy managers? You'd probably get more consistency elsewhere.
Yeah, and I mean, based on what people are saying or the noise on Twitter, kind of the Twitter community FPL-wise, is Odegaard seems like the pick people are going for, but he's not actually even one of the top transfer players in. No. Which I was quite surprised about considering the noise, and I think people are definitely fancying the likes of Isak if they still haven't got him. Luis Diaz is a popular one this week, and that man Gabriel Jesus is up there as well. 6.7 is he, Jesus?
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably a bargain. Or 6.8 actually went up. He went up. That's not too bad for a striker, right?
Yeah. Right.
That's right. Any live moves coming today, Chaza, or?
We'll think about it.
We'll think about it.
Think about it.
I like
our league. We need to. Well, there's some good scores, and we'll start with Jacks. We don't usually, but for once, in how long knows when, he had a fantastic game week. 95 points. Sanchez, Rodgers, Isak, Salah as cap, and Harbour Bell is somehow on the bench too.
Yeah. What a cracking game week, right? So absolutely smashed it, 95 points. Is this the is this the resurrection of Jack Gillibrand? He's got double Arsenal defence, Liverpool, Chelsea keeper Sanchez getting bonus, Rodgers. I mean, loads of people benched Rodgers, didn't they? And a great haul from Isak as well. So well done, Jack. I mean, it's not very often I could say that this season, but he's done good.
Yeah, he has for sure. Rev had a good one. Just briefly onto him, then we'll get to our sides. 84. Got Hall down back. Bowen, Palmer, Rodgers, Salah, Isak. He did pretty well.
Yeah, he did. I mean, I'm surprised he did go for Palmer as the captain. I did advise Rev to play his Villa players. And I mean, I think he, as you probably know, he was pretty happy about that because that Rodgers 14 points, we'd have probably never heard the end of it, would be Chaza. So, great sort of score. Good week, solid week, just with the captain, just a bit shy on that one.
Reidy, the floor is yours. Now, you wouldn't believe it. Once again, we've got the same score, which means we are both level on points.
It's bonkers, mate. I mean, I would have to take a look at this, but are our teams the exact same?
No, they're not. No,
they're not.
No.
That's how bizarre is that we're getting the same points, I guess we're probably close in terms of who we've got, but Fabianski, 3-pointer. West Ham, is it 1-1, I think, against Brighton? Yeah, it was 1-1. It is what it is. 3-pointer move. Robinson, solid 6-pointer. I think he was the flavour of the week. A load of people got him in. Unfortunate that he didn't end up with a bonus because they changed the scoring on that one. Gabriel with his 4-pointer because he got an assist, but obviously Arsenal conceded. And then, I think the rest is pretty straightforward. I think Mo Cap was great. Chelsea assets letting me down a little bit. Enzo was a pick, not too great. I've seen people getting the Isak all, and I was like, oh no. But Cunha 9-pointer made it a little bit sweeter, a little bit better for me.
Yeah. And how many points bench? Just the 2. Now, different story with the other side you're about to see. So we had 4 players that were different. We had so it's Fabianski against Flecken, Gabriel instead of Timber, Enzo instead of Jared Bowen, and Johan Visser instead of Evan Nielsen. Now, you only had 2 points bench. Let's see how many points I got. This has to be the worst one of all time. 32.
Ooh.
That is
bad. Yeah, not great, is it, Chaza, when you look at that? It's hard, though, because who do you drop other than possibly, I'd say, Evan Nielsen is the standout, right? You drop Evan Nielsen, you probably play Rodgers, and there you go. But the fact that Forest didn't concede, Aina got on the score sheet.
Oh, that's bad.
it was a bit of a killer one. But yeah, you tell me, Charlie. Like other than Evan Nielsen, who are you benching?
Okay, so Evan Nielsen won only because I fancied Bournemouth at Old Trafford. They looked really good last season. I thought, yeah, they could smell blood against the Devils under Ruben Amorim. I think possibly I was blindsided by how good Everton have been defensively recently because they got the shutout at the Emirates. Could that have possibly been an opportunity to bench Nicholas Jackson, which would have been an incredible bold call?
Yeah, it would have, especially when you're going for a defender and you're playing Aina instead of, you end up with one striker. So you'd have just had Cunha as your main striker. You would have had a 4-5-1.
Yeah.
I mean, who goes for a 4-5-1 in FPL? It's unheard of almost. So listen, don't be too harsh on yourself on that one. The Aina one, that can happen with defenders any point in the game. They're just so random with the hauls and stuff. I think the Rodgers one, that's probably the only one where I'd say, listen, mate, you probably should have benched Evan Nielsen, but you had reasoning for it, and it just didn't work out. So don't stare at that for too long, Charlie, because we're level on points now, and thank God you didn't play these guys because we wouldn't have been. But don't be too harsh on yourself, mate. We've got another game week coming up, more opportunity for you, and more reason for you to bench more points, and me go above you. Cheers.
Oh, mate, I'm so fuming because I just reckon that was a missed opportunity right there to make a big statement. Sometimes it has been where you get on a good run of game weeks, but then you get like, I could be up there, but I only got up to there because either did the wrong captain or you had bench points piled on.
Yeah, and for me personally this season, captaincy swing has been difficult because getting your captain right just makes things so much easier in FPL. I mean, we've seen how many weeks Salah has been killing it, and if you'd have just left your captain on him, you'd have been pretty much fine most weeks. But getting that right can sometimes make a big difference. But also, when you do have a decent squad like yourself, it becomes harder then to, you have benching headaches and things like that. So sometimes there's just nothing you can do. There is literally nothing you can do. We haven't got a bench boost every week. I mean, you don't really. There's some favourable weeks you want to use your bench boost, or you want to maybe some people wildcard into a bench boost. But yeah, mate, that's how the cookie crumbles at times.
What a fantastic saying you've come out. I reckon you had a few cookies yesterday. Am I
right? Well, not too many cookies as such. I mean, I did. Did I have a few biscuits? Maybe I'm trying to think. Oh, I had a couple of profiteroles. They were good. A couple of profiteroles. Didn't have much room or any time for a Yule log. Went for a Yule log possibly, but didn't have time for a chocolate one. And yeah, mate, desserts wise, I'm probably going to save that for today. What about yourself?
Yeah. Well, I'm not too sure what happens to today, but just something. I don't really want to endorse this product. But so a few of my mates back home, they downloaded the Beer Buddy app, so you could take a photo, find out how many times, what sort of drink you have. And then they've got the mirror camera of you as well, taking the photo. So it's got double camera lens. And then you just chuck it on top, and then you can actually put down how many drinks you've had on a certain day.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. And you can get likes on it, which is a bit strange because it's not Instagram or anything that attractive. But no, it's funny because I didn't know how to use the app at first. So I just went to my granddad's cupboard and I just took a bottle of 4 different rum bottles. I didn't have them and I just clicked one beer. And then the mates just said, mate, if you do that, you'll be on the ground in 5 minutes.
That's pretty accurate, to be honest, mate. If you're chugging about 4 different rums, it can only the saying is it can only get better, but not in that case, mate. You'll be out before even 8 o'clock. You'll be in bed. Yeah. Speaking of rum, zoom out a bit.
I had some of those.
Bit of dead man's fingers there.
Oh, geez, that looks good.
Got the mango one here. I'm not too sure.
You're feeding me on the props already.
Not too sure on the mango. I've not had that one. There's a skull shot glass though. I mean, is that saying that maybe a shot of rum at 10:10 in the morning? No, it's too early.
Oh,
it's too early.
If I had one of those, maybe Trossard would have come in. But this is a good question from Abood and Sean. And I do want to say thank you very much for tuning in. I brought Trossard in from Saka. What do you think of the substitution? That's interesting.
Yeah, from like we were talking about before with Odegaard, from a price point of view, I mean, I think Trossard might be a really, really good move. I guess Saka's out now. Minutes, do we think, aren't that much of an issue? I think Trossard always generally gets more minutes than Martinelli anyway, doesn't he? And unless Havertz and Jesus are going to be playing in that front three, and say Havertz maybe drops deeper into the midfield, I think Trossard could end up being a decent pick. You not feeling it, Chaza? Or
who plays on the right? Is it Reece Nelson? Because that would be the area that we need more depth in. We're fine on the left because Trossard and Martinelli can all exchange.
I think with Arteta, he's got that option of that Trossard can play either side. Trossard can actually play deeper. Same with Havertz, can play deeper, but also can play as the 9. Jesus can play as the 9, can play out on the right. So he's got a few options. I mean, Martinelli's possibly the one where it's a little bit more limited and can only play on the left. I'm sure he'd do a job on the right, but whether it be effective, I don't think I've seen Martinelli play on the right for a long time. Obviously, we know Saka's generally fit. But I think he's with the other two, he's definitely got more options on where he wants to put them. So I don't hate it. I think it's an okay pick, right? 6.8 mil, Trossard. How many points is he on for the season? 52 points. His XG and XA isn't amazing. So from a data point of view, Aboud, it's not that great as such. But good luck with the pick. I hope it goes well, right, Chaza?
Yeah, I hope so. In fairness, it's a great shout. If anything, public league, there are some big scores. And tell you what, Tom Stone's currently leading by 53 points at the time of recording during the Christmas period. There's a few that's had some big green arrows. That's huge. Jeez, what a league that is. So,
yeah, now I don't know if you know about sort of Tom Stones. If it's the same Tom Stones, that is, right? Now, we've been doing the Addicts podcast for, since lockdown, right? And we had a guy called Tom Stones who actually, I want to say he won a mini league one season, maybe, or possibly. And this guy, he's pretty decent at FPL, Chaza. He's pretty decent. So it's no surprise if it's the same one. He's right up there at the top, and he's absolutely killing it.
Mm. Reidy, how have you found the last few days, especially with the discussion and trying to find Bukayo Saka replacements? Because it's a very unique time, and it could well be the template being broken now.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know if the template can be broken just yet. I do think the interesting discussion really is around who to replace him with, and do you go sort of for things like triple Liverpool? Obviously, people are looking at that. We've got Leicester today. Newcastle have been great. So, if you haven't had Isak like myself, who took him out in game week 11 or 12 when he had Liverpool, he then obviously since then has got a crazy amount of points, and I've just let him get the points for other people's teams. So, Saka replacements, going back to that one. Interesting. For me, I don't think personally that the likes of Fernandes, Odegaard, Bowen, and there is one more that I can't think of right now, but I don't think some of those guys are maybe good enough picks. I know the minutes are there. I think from a minutes perspective, it's great. They're all affordable. Obviously, if you're going from Saka, you're downgrading. You've got enough money in the bank with a bit of spare change. But I do think I think Mbeumo is still going to carry on kind of returning. I think there's going to be games where he gets his hauls. Brighton away, I wouldn't be surprised. Brighton have not been great lately. But yeah, what other options, right? It's tough. Yeah. What are you thinking? What are you thinking personally?
I've got a few to say, but before that, just briefly check on the Women's League. Mira currently holding a 13-point lead. However, person in second smashed it with big 107-point game week. Fair play. We'll be tuning back in probably 48 hours time, and there's another game week, of course. All right, it's yours. There's two different categories. Over 7 mil and under 7 mil. Now, for those who are probably missing on areas or premiums who are in form, such as in Alexander Isak, this presents a really good opportunity to try and fund such a move. In addition, I think the top picks for the Saka replacements, I'm talking about price brackets, are either one, don't really like their team, or their team's inconsistent. Two, the player is now but just too inconsistent, such as where those source of points going to come, or they've got a high ceiling, but can you back on them getting secure minutes? They fit one of those three categories, such as what you said. Fernandes, agree. Odegaard, agree. The Liverpool midfielders, I agree. Higher ceiling, but are they minutes secure? That's probably those within over the 7 million price range.
Yeah. From a over 7 million point of view, I mean, obviously Bowen is the one that sticks out, and I think you own Bowen already, right? You still own him.
Yeah, I think with him, it looks as he's got 2 favourable fixtures, and then he's got Liverpool, Man City. Like that could be putting people off.
Yes, yeah, that's definitely putting people off. Another thing that might be putting people off is the fact that if Lucas Paqueta's on the pitch, Bowen doesn't get pens. But Bowen, I think this season he's kind of still there or thereabouts, which is what the reason I'm kind of smiling is he's level on points with this other person is level on points with Bowen, and that's Alex Iwobi for Fulham. He's having a terrific season. Obviously, he's doing really well. I'm not saying he should be a pick, by the way, but I just find it quite funny. But Bowen is kind of up there. Madison is another one that people haven't been looking at. That's kind of just quietly been getting points in the background. His minutes were a risk. Ange was taking him off early or wasn't even starting him. But the popular picks, Chaza, seem to be the likes of Luis Diaz, maybe a Diego Jota, who's a midfielder in the game, but obviously plays as a 9. They're the guys, right? I mean, people go in fixture more than anything else.
You're spot on. I probably would agree. Yeah, Matters is a funny one, as you mentioned. How Ange just takes him off early at random. Some have probably gone Heung-min Son, to be fair, but he's just been out of form and been a shadow of his former self. Probably the player I like from Tottenham at the moment is Dejan Kulusevski and how important he is, especially how they drive through the midfield. He scored goals in his last 3 games. I'm not sure. Maybe it might be Maddison and his chance creation is what makes him more appealing. But I think Tottenham, they look good. But today's fixture could be a put-off because Forest is so good defensively this season.
Yeah. Is that a game where is that a game where you expect sort of a hell of a load of goals? I don't know. Forest obviously look really good defensively. They're at home. Spurs love to attack, love to score, as Ange pointed out again. But they also love to concede a heck of a load of goals. So Maddison on that one, I don't see him getting a big return this week. I think that's going to be a really big battle in midfield in that game. And you've got Gibbs, White, Yates in their midfield, Forest midfield. You've also got obviously Alanga and Hudson-Odoi who are pretty dangerous attacking wise. So is that a game where they cancel each other out? I wouldn't be surprised in a way. Or I think it might, if it's going to lean one way, it's going to end up, Spurs conceding a lot of goals because they're trying to attack, and Forest have actually been decent this season. So, Maddison might not be the pick from this week especially. But going forward, Spurs fixtures, they're actually not too bad, given that they do have Wolves at home next game, which is good. Then they play Newcastle at home and Arsenal away. Not too great. However, then it's Everton, Leicester, Brentford, and United and Ipswich, actually, after that. So if you're going to probably jump on Spurs players, maybe it could be from 22 or 23 for a little period and maybe get a Maddison or a Kulusevski. But I really like Kulusevski, just to go back on that, what you were saying, Chaz. I think he's looked really good lately. He's looked really good.
Yeah, a strange one, because I think what I learned from having so many points benched, I initially was thinking of just holding Saka for 1 week just to test the depth out, but I just feel that you kind of, I know it's a short turnaround because the next deadline being on Sunday, but you're wasting a lot of money with a 10 million asset who's just only going to fall in price. So it was best to make the move on the front foot.
Yeah.
To add on what is going on, Morgan Rogers was the most transferred out midfielder last game week, and now he was at one stage the most transferred in, and now he's ranked third. Does that play a role in terms of how indecisive fantasy managers are, or just reactionary in general?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely knee-jerking with the Rodgers situation. People getting him in. I think he's going to be a good pick most of the season anyway, especially the price point he's at now. Not on the same level of points as Palmer was, but same price point, right? Remember, Palmer last season was about 5 million odd. Absolutely killed it, smashed it. And then, they hyped him up and doubled it this season, near enough. So I think he will be the guy. He's so attacking. He's almost playing as a striker. He's that high up the pitch at times, Rodgers. So I think he's a fantastic pick. But yeah, definitely people going, oh, I'm going to get Rodgers now. He's just got a 14-point haul. So yeah, not surprised by that one, bud. But yeah, another player I wanted to mention before we forgot about that, from a 7 million bracket or 7 million plus bracket, and that's an Anthony Gordon for Newcastle. He's got 2 assists in his last 2 games. Probably should have had more. 4-0 against Leicester, 4-0 against Ipswich. I think with that one, if you've got room for another Newcastle player, why not, right?
Yeah, I fancy him in his next 5 fixtures, to be honest. Like, you have United and Spurs. Same with those Brennan and Isaac. Both away from home, but they're both shocking at defending. I think Villa's fixture today is pretty good because prior to the Man City game, Villa were quite out of form for a while outside of their win against Brentford, and Wolves and Bournemouth both being back at home. Yeah, I don't know. Why is he not discussed enough? Is it because of just how off he's been in general this season?
Well, you've had Jacob Murphy absolutely smashing it, lately. Double-digit hauls. Minutes-wise, not as good as Gordon. Obviously, price point-wise, 4.9 million compared to 7.2 million. People are kind of going, well, why would I pay that extra? But if you've got a Lewis Hall and an Isaac, you kind of go in, do I want to then get triple, Newcastle and get Gordon? But I think he's a great pick. I think he really is for these next few. He's still attacking. His finishing could be better, but he's playing on that left-hand side, which he's better, in my opinion, than he is up top or on the right. And I think he's maybe, slightly being overlooked. I think, has Rev got Gordon? I think has Mikey got Gordon?
I thought he benched him he played him in the Brentford game, started, and then got rid of him for that big -4 hit he was doing.
Was it? Oh, right. Okay. He did. So he hasn't got Gordon anymore. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Would you consider getting him, or
not Murphy? Probably Gordon, but
yeah,
so
Gordon.
I agree with you. There's a lot of picks, and they could provide value at 5.5 or less, especially Ahmad being one too. But do you need to go someone a little bit more up than that just to keep the price range a bit more flexible within your squad? That's probably the only thing that's kind of holding me back. If you want to make future moves. See, if you might have 2 5.5 million budget picks, does that ruin the flexibility of potentially going up and down in different areas?
I don't know. I think, obviously, if you've got extra money in the bank, or if you've not got Haaland, you have Salah and Palmer, say. Now we're getting rid of Saka, right? So you don't have those 3 in midfield. You've got extra cash there. I mean, for example, in my team at the moment, I've got Salah, Palmer, Jackson, and Isaac, and Van Dijk, Gabriel. Like, the money's spread so much easier if you only have that one premium in Salah. Even though you've got like a Palmer who's 11 mil now, 11.3 now, you can still afford these other guys in your team. So, yeah. I think the price, from a price point of view, I think if you want a bit more guaranteed and a bit more secure, you go for Gordon. If you're not bothered and you're just thinking, I'm going to go for form and just try and get more points out of Murphy, then you kind of get him and you're holding foul however long you need to.
Yeah, that was a really good discussion. We might even have more, but I completely forgot to go over a couple of other areas, and that's today's fixtures, of course. Did you say you had a standout fixture?
No, I didn't. You know what? I say I've not thought about the fixtures. Obviously, I've had a little cheeky look, but I think the middle of that screen is absolute potential for chaos, or maybe not chaos, maybe just kind of low scoring. But Chelsea, Fulham, Newcastle, Villa, Forest, Spurs, 3 great little fixtures. And yeah, I think those 3. Sorry if you're going to pick one of those, Chaza, by the way, but you can talk about them anyway. But those 3 for me are the ones that I want to keep an eye out for.
I think if I had to pick a standout one, I've got to have to go Forest Tottenham. I just really want to see how Postecoglou responds after what happened on Sunday. If Forest can carry on that form that they've shown against top 6 sides, there was an outlier performance, them losing 3-0 away at Arsenal, which, looking back on it, that's quite a disappointing result for Nuno's side. Like Spurs holding up defensively, their attack in general, how they're going to meet up against statistically one of the best defenses in the league. The City ground, like, that's roaring this season too. That's probably the one that's got the most interest.
Yeah. So we've got how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 3:00 kickoffs after Everton beat City and Pep gets sacked. But yeah, then we've got obviously an R5 kickoff and then an 8 p.m. kickoff as well. So great day of football, jam-packed, and hopefully we get goals galore on this Boxing Day.
Bonkers. That's exactly what we want, Reidy. You're so spot on. Now, we've mentioned a lot of these players in the transfers in and some on the transfers out. Briefly, any of these players on this screen surprise you in terms of sales or just in an odd position?
I'm not. I mean, I think the 1 or 2 maybe is probably Rodgers and Maddison. But I do feel like they are just reactionary sort of knee-jerk moves. The Maddison one, I am slightly surprised, only because, he got a goal against us last week. He has been decent the week before that, with his haul and stuff. But I don't know, maybe that is literally, for me, people's kind of getting rid of Saka and just throwing a dart and seeing where it lands, and they've ended up with Maddison. So yeah, that one for me. Probably Diaz, and the reason is, yes, he played great against Spurs last week, and he was, involved in all the goals and the attacks and so on. However, it's a risky pick. It is a risky pick. The rotation with Slot, the congested games. You've also got Nunes, Jota, Gakpo, Diaz, Salah. Of those 5, we know that Salah's probably nailed, and is going to get the most minutes inevitably. However, then that leaves 4 slots or 4 positions, 4 players, to fill 2 positions. What do you think, Chaz? I think, would you be going for Diaz? Would you be going for Jota? Or do you think that Gakpo and Nunes could end up being the one?
So, in reflection on the transfers, and I'm so glad you asked this, because I looked at Saka replacements, it would have been on the Monday. And there was something else I sort of wanted to sort out as well. So I kind of just held off, and the price changes just sort of looked after itself. So it already made me priced out, so I had to look elsewhere. Yes, yeah. I think the big 13-point haul last Sunday has been a big springboard, because we know Diaz is known to be a streaky player. And once he starts double-figure haul, he'll probably add 3 more before you even know it. Then after that, it will dry up. Another 2 things. So clearly the direct transfer in most transfer, it's from a different position of Bukayo Saka. So other managers have got a different orientation of looking in other areas and using those funds to upgrade in the forward line. João Pedro, 3rd most transferred out. Brighton have been dismal for a while now. So he just has not been performing since his 12-point haul away at Bournemouth. In addition, Emile Smith-Rowe, despite Fulham having probably right up there the best fixture run during the festive period, he's going out too.
Yeah. I think he's played quite a lot of minutes at the beginning of the season, Smith Rowe, and he was great. Cheap asset, was getting points for people, but obviously he has got a little bit of a flag on there as well. I do think it's a lack of match fitness. Personally, I think that he has been struggling to kind of make the 90 or start games and kind of last. So yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Welbeck speaks for itself, right? Been out for the last 3 weeks maybe now. João Pedro been letting people down. People brought him in. He's got his pens. He's really cheap and so on. But people are kind of probably sick of that now, and they're seeing players like Isak, Gabriel Jesus, Cunha. They're seeing these players get points on the board. So they're like, I'm getting short of him. Haaland, I mean, from an FPL general point of view, that is huge, right? Haaland people just shipping him out left, right, and centre, realising how much they can stretch the money, and realising how badly out of form he is this season. So, yeah, those make sense to me, those transfers out, Chaza.
I'm glad you mentioned Erling Haaland, because in terms of him transferred in, I don't think he even makes the top 10. Yeah. And he's got a dream fixture run for the next.
Yes, that's exactly. Yeah, that's a pretty good point to bring up, Chaza. Really good fixture run, really interesting. I do expect him to return in 2 out of these 3 fixtures minimum. Is that going to be enough for people to want him and kind of rip up the teams, unless you've got the transfers to do it, and kind of get him in and then take him out? Fantastic. However, I think people they've gone, and this is a bit of a pun, but cold turkey on Erling Haaland.
So unless you've got 3 or more moves, it's doable. But even despite downgrading Saka, you have 5 mil, and your way of getting a 4.8, you might need another move to even downgrade elsewhere, because you wouldn't get rid of Isak. He's probably one nearest 10 mil at the moment. And Jackson, look, maybe, but Haaland has not shown enough to warrant that move.
No. So, Saka, Haaland, Pedro, all these guys. What I find interesting actually is on that list, Chaza, was it most transferred out possibly? Is Cunha on the list of most transferred out?
Cunha is top 4 for transfers in for this game week, but I'll bring up the transfers out too. Yeah, he's 4th. Yeah, how incredible.
That's what I mean. Cunha 4th and Wood 5th. I mean, Chris Wood, maybe kind of people are looking and going, nah. I want to get to Isak, so they've transferred Saka out, and then they've went, I've got enough money now to get Isak. I'll do Wood to Isak. That's all I can probably assume on that one. But not some bad fixtures actually for Chris Wood, right? It'd be horrible.
I personally wouldn't sacrifice him to get to Isak if you've got the likes of someone such as a Pedro or an Evan Nilsson or another striker.
I mean, yeah, depending on who else you've got, I'd probably keep Wood and move someone else move someone else out to get Isak.
Okay, I got a question. Would you potentially get rid of Nicholas Jackson this week for Alexander Isak?
Oh, Chaza, I considered doing that last week, actually, and using my 1 free transfer. I didn't do it, and look what happened. Isak 17-pointer. I was going to be getting Isak this week anyway. However, my plan was to keep Jackson because I thought Chelsea's fixture was still good enough. I wanted to own both. So if I'd have done that, I'd have had 1 free transfer for this week, and I'd have kind of been like, who can I count? It probably would have been Saka, right? Or probably would have just transferred out Saka. But I don't think I had enough to move out other players, other strikers in 1 move. So that was my dilemma, really. So the Saka injury has enabled me to be able to go to Isak and Jackson, or have Isak and Jackson. Yeah.
Right. Oh, Jesus. Really a lot to discuss. 25 minutes till the deadline too, Reidy. That's actually quite exciting.
I was about to say, it's crept up. Yeah, it's crept up on us. We've got a few people.
Yeah, let's get to that question.
Jojo has put in there. You're not the only one. I've made disastrous captain choices and been completely dropped in mini league. I'm sorry to hear that, Jojo, but I'm sure you've got plenty of time, loads of game weeks, and a few chips in your back pocket to climb back or claw back, matey. Another one, someone saying, rate my team, Raya, TAA, as in Trent, Hall, Timber, Bruno, Salah, Palmer, Bowen, Isak, Cunha, Pedro.
I'd like to know who's on his bench, but yeah, it's a decent team.
It's a pretty good team, yeah, nice team that, to be fair, Hershey boxed. And then another one from Orange Apple.
Okay.
Hi, lads. Worth a -4 to bring in TAA this week. Already have Van Dijk and would have to bench either Enzo, Lewis, or Johnson to start TAA. Chaza, what would you do in that situation?
I actually think yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would, if it means would have to bench either start TAA. Yeah, I mean, wait. Sorry. No, yeah.
Nah, yeah? Nah?
Yeah.
Which one is it? Yeah, so you do that one. So that's interesting. I think a few people in the community who play the game might be doing the same. -4 for Trent. And another one from Hershey Box. Do you think Enzo is a good FPL asset? And do you think I should start him over João Pedro? This week, yes, we saying Chaza?
I'm saying yes, but you can say no.
No. Well, Chelsea play Fulham at home. Brighton are
Or actually, they're home to Brentford, and they're pretty bad away from home.
At home to Brentford as well. Coin toss, that one. I think I'd possibly favour Pedro in this one.
Actually, yeah, I would.
Possibly, just because they're at home and Brentford defensively can be awful and they're away. So possibly this week I'd go for Pedro. Speaking of deadlines and speaking of teams and things like that, Chaza, I am going to just share my team for this week and share my moves, matey. So
sure,
if I can somehow get my team on, which will take me a minute. There we go. Share screen. Get my team. And I have made 2 moves this week. So this is me for this week. I've got Fabianski in goal, away to Southampton. Back 3 of Van Dijk, Gabriel, and Aït-Nouri.
And you have him still?
I've still got him. I held him, and then he dropped once, and then he locked, I think, because of being suspended and so on. So he's not dropped since, actually, which is wild. But yeah, still got Aït-Nouri. I mean, you look at that record, Chaza. Oh my god,
it's a good fixture this week.
It's not so bad. Yeah, I do expect United to score, but we do know they like to concede as well. So I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to go and have Aït-Nouri. I think the issue I've got this week is that people are going to have double Liverpool or double Arsenal defences. And I'm not keen on going up against that, to be honest with you, with an Aït-Nouri. But it is what it is. The rest of the team, Salah, as you can see, he's got the captain's armband against Leicester tonight. We're hoping for about 4 goals from him. That'd be nice to top Christmas off. Cole Palmer Vice, in case there's any random crazy weather that turns up later on. And then, as you can see, Mr. Luis Diaz is in my team, Chaza. One of my moves for this week. I brought in Diaz, and I'll tell you why in a sec. However, I have got a bit of a benching headache. Only a small one, right? But you can probably see where it is at the moment. Now, the rest of the team, Jackson, Isak, and Cunha. Good front 3. Pretty happy. Brought in Isak for Wissa, who's not done me too bad over the last few weeks and so on. But it was time for him to move on. And there's the benching headache, Chaza. Enzo or Matoma. I mean...
is that Robinson as well?
It is indeed, yes.
Considered fielding him?
I have not, no. He does come up against Chelsea. Bear in mind, this is more I don't want to play Robinson because I've got 3 Chelsea, or 2 Chelsea who are playing. And I do think Chelsea will score being at home. However, Robinson has still been great, even in the Liverpool fixture. He's picked up 6 points in the last 2. Plays 90 as well. solid pick. I mean, look at his minutes, absolute guarantee. 90 minutes every game. He's captain. It's unbelievable, his fitness and how good he is. But yeah, for me, I'm just going to go for Inorri. Maybe it's a bit of a punt. Maybe it should just be going for Robinson and he'll end up with more points. But I'm going to go for Inorri, hoping that United are absolute cack and he gets a return and possibly a clean sheet, which would be crazy. But Enzo and Matoma, have I got that right, would you say?
I think so, yeah.
Matoma's not been great since his 10-pointer when I brought him in against Southampton. 8 points in the last 4 game weeks, which is pretty poor, to be honest with you. Enzo, on the other hand, he kind of went on his run. He got 12, 9, 5, 9, 5, and then a bit of a blank against Everton.
My question is with Matoma is that if you're going to bench him this week, why do you still have him?
Well, I'm not. That's the thing. I'm not going to bench him. I'm going to play him.
Yeah. Well, so
yeah, I'm just going to go with him.
Side.
The Diaz pick, I went for him because if I'd have gone for Trent, it would involve a hit for one, a hit, because I'd have had to take out, I think it would have been Inorri, but I wanted Isak as well. So I needed to fund Isak and Trent, I'd have needed to take Saka out. So ultimately, it would have involved a hit. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I ended up going for Diaz instead. I did slightly regret that, Chaz. I'm not going to lie. I was like, oh, maybe I should have just got Trent and had the double of pool defence with Arsenal and then picked maybe a Rodgers. What would you have done in my situation? The same or Trent?
Well, I like how you're going for Liverpool pick because they'll have a double game week in 24-25, so it kind of saves you doing a transfer down the line.
Yeah, that's true. Just when you look at it and you see the double of pool defence compared to what I've got, Diaz, don't know what his minutes are going to be. It is a little bit scary, I'm not going to lie. Trent loves playing in Leicester as well.
The way sort of seeing with a lot of not so nailed attackers is going for secure players, and the top 3 would be Salah, Virgil, and Trent. They've certainly got the right fixtures. It's just more because I know sometimes Liverpool can have that odd goal conceded. Is their track record sustainable enough where the double defence is worth investing
in? I think yes, generally. I think obviously what we've got to consider is there's a lot of money now going into people's defences, whereas previously at the beginning of the season, people were like, just go for the low price guys. They'll do a job, and we're finding more and more that that's not the case. Unless you've picked Aina for Forest and you've kept him all season and played him. But yeah, it's getting pretty spenny in there with Virgil, Trent, Gabriel, or you've got a Timber as well, or even a Saliba. People are doubling up on these on the top teams, and it's it's affordable. Don't get me wrong. As I said, if you've only got one premium, you can still do it. But what you kind of leaning towards this week, I guess actually that's a good segue to bring your team up, mate.
Well, we're level on points. That's what I'm loving about this short time period, which I know it won't last. But yes, Same formation. There's the big pick who I brought in for Bukayo Saka, and it's a player who we have not mentioned at all. So
it is indeed. Yeah, that's true. How can we forget, sir? Go on.
Yeah, Flecken in goal. So one on-field change only because I want to make a 3 o'clock enjoyment for today a bit more enjoyable. So let's have a player in every game, and for that to occur, let's have someone for Forest Spurs game. So Aina. But I'm ready to be hurt again. Yeah. Bowen, I think that's a good fixture. Palmer, Salah, captain. Ismail Assar's come in for Crystal Palace. I've liked him in the last 2 games. My concern is what is his output going to be when Eze, I think, is back from injury. But Palace need to get their season going. They've got a good fixture, actually, I believe, in the next 2 after today with Bournemouth away. I know Bournemouth are good sides, so it's going to be a hard nut to crack. But Southampton are home and Chelsea are home, both sides who aren't very good defensively this season. Cunha and Jackson, and with that downgrade from Saka, it has allowed me to go from Evan Nilsson to Alexander Isak, which I just felt is a big priority at the moment.
Yeah. 2 frees?
That was with 2 free transfers, yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So yeah, I like it. I mean, it's Saar going a little bit different. We talked about prices before. You asked, saying, is it one of those where you can go a bit too low, and your price points get a little bit tricky. If you're going for a Murphy or whatever. But you've gone for Saar. Just want to ask, how much is Saar in FPL?
Like 5.8.
Wow. Okay. Pretty cheap.
I could be wrong. Yeah, he's 5.8. Yeah. No, it's a risky pick. I think for the Liverpool ones because I wasn't too certain who to go for, and I knew that I think getting Isak is probably the right thing to do. If there's such a big conundrum on a premium asset that has to go, it's a good opportunity to go down that area. So he was always going to come in. I felt from probably yesterday morning onwards. So I did these transfers yesterday, and it's just more who's the downgrade option. Can't go Odegaard, Fernandes. Tottenham, I was a bit put off by this week's fixture, but also I knew some of my mates were going Spurs, but it didn't really stop me. It's just more I want to try and find a way to go different on this occasion. So I really liked Kulusevski. I think it was the number one option in that side. Ahmad, Enzo, I just think that was too deep of a price bracket. And with those players, they could just be on spurts. And the same could be said with Saar, but I think, he's the reason why he's at Palace and Glasner wants him is to keep just exploiting sides on that right-hand side. So he's got to deliver somehow, I believe.
I mean,
Ahmad was the other one, but I just think I don't know. I want to use some funds to fund future moves because I know I probably wouldn't mind doing Greece to Mikalenko eventuly, and I've got 1.5 in the bank.
Yeah, exactly. You've got extra money to play with. You can potentially think about 25 maybe now. We're talking about the double for Liverpool and Everton. You could go for that Everton defender and kind of get set up for that. Same front three for us. So there's not going to be any points difference there, mate. Both got Virgil. Obviously, I've got Gabriel. You've got Timber. Both got Palmer and Salah. Both captain and Salah. So the difference really between us is going to be goalkeeper, defenders. So goalkeeper, 2 defenders, and 2 midfielders, in other words. So I've got Diaz and Matoma versus your Bowen and Saar, mate. Yeah.
I think what is good about this is that there's 2 short turnarounds of deadlines, but Rodgers' next 2 fixtures after this week, they coincide quite well for Bowen's difficult fixtures. So that's a good way of potentially accommodating Bowen first off the bench. Yeah. Rodgers has Brighton and Leicester both at home, which is really good matchups for him. Robinson can come in for Aina to come next week, and that's kind of about it. So it's sort of systematic. If Jackson gets booked today, I don't think I'll be in much of a rush to get rid of him because, yes, he misses out on Ipswich, but he could always go Gameweek 20. But you just kind of have cover.
Yeah. I mean, I think having Rodgers is fine. Villa's fixtures can turn at any point. I mean, they are better generally at home. They've got Champions League to contend with this season. But his minutes look really secure. And, as much as he's caused you pain last week, those 14 points on your bench, there are going to be opportunities for you to start him or opportunities where you kind of pick him instead of someone else and it's the right pick. So I think he's going to be really, really important for you at some stage, bud. One other thing I want to mention, which we haven't talked about, is, and a few people are bringing him in, I've noticed now just before deadline and over the last couple of days, is a Phil Foden, scored last week.
Yes.
Late on against Villa. He's another one. He's the other one I couldn't think of that was in the Bruno, Odegaard and Bowen category. He's quite expensive in FPL still, right, Chaza? Bit too pricey for me.
Yeah, it's so strange because
9 million, is he? 9-1?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, unless you've got the luxuries and you've kind of got all the players you need in each of the areas at the moment, you could go there, but I don't think he makes the top 10.
Yeah, it's a pretty good point, and he's not had the minutes this season. He's been out of form. I mean, what's crazy is that was his first goal this season. First goal this season. Other than that, he's only registered 1 assist all season. Yes, Man City's fixture run next 3 are great, He's got the potential. He's always got the potential. I mean, player of the season last year. But how are you feeling that pick still? If you're taking out Saka, a guy who gets minutes, who's on pens potentially as one of the highest point scorers in the season so far in FPL, are you getting Foden? Really?
10 minutes to go, and honestly, I've got some nerves for today. I want to talk about another club, Crystal Palace and Munoz. Are they worth? Well, I know I've got Sarr, but it's just more. Are they worth for defence?
Yes, at some point. I mean, next week Palace do play Southampton, or the weekend play Southampton at home. Nice fixture for them. Munoz did his, got his ban, served his suspension or whatever. So, I think he's a good pick going forward. I think you've picked Sarr there. Obviously, Palace have a few good fixtures. Chelsea after Southampton. Then they play Leicester away. Then they play West Ham away. And after that, it's Brentford at home. So I think they've got some really good fixtures, and especially if you are going to go for him and to kind of rotate your defence. You know what I mean? He's a solid pick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's one thing we haven't done is captaincy, which I better do it before the deadline in case some people want some facts. But yeah, Saka's 2,500,000 transfers out is actually the most sold player in FPL history in a single game week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's it. I'll do captains quick, and then we're more than happy to discuss more, which will see us out till the deadline. So I do have a few options. So we'll start with Mo Salah, 177 points in counting. 2 of his top 3 highest scores of the season, 21 and 18, have come from his last 3 appearances. Only once before the season he has registered more across a whole season in such a campaign. Foxes have conceded 22 goals, the most of any side on their travels this season. No other side has also conceded more shots in the box than they have in the last 3 game weeks. Chris Wood at home to Tottenham. Spurs have conceded 19 goals in their last 5 games across all competitions, and his 14 big chances are 3 times more than any other of his teammate. Cole Palmer at home to Fulham, 10 points in the corresponding fixture. His chances created in the last 6 game weeks is 18, the most of any other player in that spell. And his 23 shots in that time are only behind Mo Salah's 25. He's second this season for expected goals involvement, expected goals third, and expected assists second with 4.41. Alexander Isak, 13 points in the corresponding fixture last week. Hat-trick. So that was corresponding fixture last season, game week 1. Hat-trick last week. Outside of Salah, he has scored the most points of any player in the last 6 game weeks with 50, which is more points than he had achieved, but less than double of the previous time period. First 12 game weeks, 47. Last 6, 50. There is a lot to choose from. However, I think there is already a standout candidate. That is it for now. Whew. There's a lot to choose from. Makes the 3 p.m. games viewing a bit tasty, doesn't it?
Yeah, very tasty indeed. Just quickly, Chaza, we were talking about that Foden thing before in terms of people moving to him from Saka. Now, apparently, Foden is present with the squad, but no confirmation on his start. Is one of the leaks. So Foden could potentially be benched. I don't want to influence anyone that that might be watching that kind of is thinking if we're going for him or whether you've gone for him already. Obviously it could easily be starting as it doesn't seem very certain at the moment whether he is going to be in the 11 or on the bench. But yeah, I just thought I'd share that, mate, because not ideal really to start the day if you've made the Foden move or thinking about making the Foden move, right? Some great captain picks there, by the way, some suggestions. I mean, did you mention Haaland? Sorry?
I didn't. I'm just not convinced by him, to be honest.
Yeah, wow. How often can you say? I mean, Haaland, not as a captain pick. Captain choices, I think, Salah, Isak. What about Jesus as an outside?
Yes, he could well be, especially against a side who have conceded the second most goals this season in Ipswich Town.
Yeah. Interesting.
We have got that. Brighton have only secured 1 clean sheet since game week 5.
Yeah, it's not
That's
ideal.
a good fixture for Byron and Boomo. We'll say that. What's your take on any sort of issue with 5 minutes to go till the deadline?
On any kind of which? Yeah, making sure the team's right.
Yeah,
making sure the
blog,
right.
to be honest.
I just don't. I'm just kind of a big topic at the beginning, or not at the beginning, when we were talking about your Rodgers benching for those 14 points. And I'm looking and I'm just going, is it Enzo? Is it Matoma? Surely I go Matoma because he plays 90.
Yeah.
Then I'm thinking Chelsea, decent at home. Fulham aren't a bad team, though. So do you expect them to concede a load? I just don't know. I think I'm going to stick with Matoma. I think that's it. But yeah, no extra moves during the stream before we.
Not with 4 minutes to go. No, I don't think. But some people may be making moves in the last 4 minutes, so we better be quick. Start Hall against Villa or Robinson against Chelsea. Go. Quick fire.
Hall.
I am going, Hall on that. Wildcarding next week. Mark, thanks for tuning in. Is it worth taking -4 for 1 week punt? I don't think so. If you're wildcarding next week, why don't you just activate it this week? Because you still have the bank transfers after. I don't know. That doesn't make sense.
I don't know, though. I mean, wildcarding this week. Yeah, possibly. Unless he's he's got a specific plan, and that's why he wants to, wildcard next week instead. But yeah, I don't mind that if he wildcarded this week. I mean, at this stage, though, Chaza, with 3 minutes to go, unless he's already pushed the button, I wouldn't want to be wildcarding right now.
No.
Maybe just don't take the -4 and keep João Pedro and just take out Kanate and Saka and move them on to someone. You could go for, if you can afford it, Trent and Jesus. I like those picks this week.
That's right. You said this briefly already, but in case those who may have tuned in late, Martinelli, just briefly.
Yeah, decent pick. Home fixture, strong fixture. It is only going to be, I say short term, I think it's going to be inconsistent returns is more the case. Yeah, but not too bad. I mean, coin toss between him and Trossard, really, but I'd probably favour Trossard.
Yeah. What was it? Oh, yeah, that's right. Our friend Mira, she has bought the Brazilian in.
Oh, Gabriel Jesus, yeah?
No, sorry, Martinelli.
Oh, Martinelli, sorry. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. You're not tempted by a late, quick transfer, Jesus?
I know a few want it, no. But, no. It's good. But I think, is there a leak that Trent might not start in the future for Jared Kwanzaa? I don't think so. I think he starts tonight.
I mean, listen, it's Leicester at home. Is there a world where Gomez starts at right back and Kwanzaa plays centre back? No. And Schlott gives Trent his rest before we play. Before we go and play West Ham, I think it is. Yeah, away. You never know. But I think Sunday 29th, we play West Ham 5:30 kickoff. Yeah, 1 minute till deadline, guys. If you haven't made sure your captain's right, or you've sorted out your team, definitely get it done now ASAP. I've just realised that I've not sorted out my draft team, and it's probably too late.
What about the FPL Challenge team?
FPL Challenge team.
I've forgotten about that for 10 game weeks.
I don't bother with that FPL Challenge.
That's fair. Reidy, as we're a second's about to clock down, I just want to make sure I've locked everything in. Yeah. How have you found a deadline stream? Because we don't usually do it, but I think for the timeline and just as something different, it kind of suited, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we don't do them often, deadline streams, but yeah, it's pretty good. Really enjoyed it. It's been good. What about yourself? You liked it?
I've liked it, yeah. There's a bit of a sense of adrenaline, especially for potential leaks, people thinking of last-minute moves. I really enjoyed that discussion on Saka replacements, especially covering all bases of different players.
Yeah.
Passed, so, yeah.
That's it. Deadline for this week, game week 18. And we're all set and ready to go.
Well, even with that, Game Week 19 is in just over 72 hours' time.
You're already looking at the next one?
Oh, mate, of course I am. I was just going to ask you, Reidy, too, on here. What's your, if you are available, happy to roll with it myself if I need to. Would you be up for Saturday pod, or do you want to do deadline again on Sunday?
Interesting, isn't it? Because obviously we're kind of still in this festive period. But the next deadline will be
Sunday, 1 o'clock.
Midday kickoff. Is it 11?
No, it's it's 2:30.
Oh, this is the strange one, isn't it? This is the weird kickoff time. So Sunday is the 2:30 kickoff between Leicester and Man City, which means
1 o'clock.
I mean, not that you want probably Southampton or leaks from Everton and stuff like that, but it means we could get some team news with that one. But what time were you thinking?
We can do it as a deadline in the lead up, or we could do an evening. I'm sort of flexible with the time slots.
Sunday, so there's no games basically
on the Saturday. No games on the Saturday, so we could have our own space.
That is weird, actually. That's going to be weird. So there's going to be no games on Saturday.
No.
28.
No.
Yeah. Well, obviously you need no games because the games are being played today and tomorrow. So you need that 1 day gap. But actually, does the rotation come this week or at the weekend, Chaza?
Surely on the weekend.
I think for certain teams, possibly. You know, the likes of City play Leicester, Spurs play Wolves, Chelsea play Ipswich, so we could see some rotation there. But yeah, that'll be interesting, actually, whether we see it this week from managers or whether we see it at the weekend. Because for me personally, we play West Ham away, which is a tougher fixture than Leicester at home. Who else? Arsenal play Brentford away, which is tougher than Ipswich at home. Chelsea. Chelsea have got Ipswich away, but obviously this week they play Fulham at home, so I don't think they'll rest anyone. Yeah, interesting one. Really interesting one. But yeah, bud, we could always potentially do the Saturday, or we could do the deadline one again and get back on there. Oh, thank you. Yeah, Hershey Box. Appreciate it, mate. Good to have you with us, and good luck for the game week on whatever you decided to do. You'll have to let us know what your team was for this week, and your captain and so on. Hopefully, Mark managed to get done what he needs to get done, whether it be wildcard or the -4 or even just the two transfers.
I was just thinking, so those who have activated the wildcard late, whether it could be Game Week 18 and they might have 4 free transfers. So it's so strange about with 5 free transfers, because I agree with you, it's a trick. But for those who don't make changes as much, it could be a bit of a benefit, because you still have the transfers even after activating the wildcard. You could be in a really good position in terms of keeping up with that template heading to the second half of the season.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is with it, Chaza, we're running out of game weeks to play that first wildcard. If you've still got that first wildcard, like maybe Mark did, I think you've got until is it 20?
No, 19.
Is it 19?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I mean, playing it next week, do I hate it? City v Leicester. Could you bring Haaland in, or maybe even go for a Son, who Spurs got? They've got Newcastle at home, early kick-off the week after. City play West Ham in 20. Yeah, I mean, Villa play Leicester at home as well. You can make sure you've got Rodgers for that game, because they play Everton the week after. I think wildcard this week or next week, really. But I think possibly this week, Chaza. I think I agree with what you were saying before. Just wildcard this week. There's some really good fixtures, and you can hold those players through.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
But yeah, that was a lot, wasn't it?
It was good fun, though. I liked it. You know, people sort of came in from time to time too, asking some big questions, and it helps us too.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely some dilemmas this week for a lot of people. Obviously, we've made 2 moves each. Saka's out, most transferred player out, which is bonkers. But I think there was no hiding from Arteta, no smoke and mirrors. He couldn't kind of go, oh, he might be fit, late fitness test or late whatever. Saka is out. And whether that puts a dent in Arsenal's title prospects, we will see.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I think it kind of does it for today's edition.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I'm happy to call it there and get ready for a bumper Boxing Day of football.
Oh yeah, it should be good. You got your prime set up?
All ready to go, mate. Got it there. However, whether I'll be watching more than one game at once is another thing. Being at the families, I'll be over at the family's house with the kids. There's going to be food available. There's going to be, a lot of noise. So it might be just a kind of open the phone and keep an eye on the scores jobby for me, mate. But for you, listen, I'm sure you've got options to be able to keep an eye on or maybe watch 2 or 3 games at once. If you have, I am a bit jealous, I'm not going to lie.
Well, I think Optus Gold Rush kind of helps this season, being on a suitable time slot. But last year, just trying to stay up and just doze off on the couch, it did not work.
Yeah.
That's why I had a really bad Boxing Day last year because the only return I got in that spell was it would have been Solanke's penalty at Bournemouth when they were at home to Fulham.
Wow.
Yeah, that was it. And
no way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's I don't see that happening this year, Chaza, to be honest. But one thing I've noticed that's kind of rubbed off in you is this bloody English weather. Those blonde locks are they've gone like a bit of a brown colour. There's no sun knocking about.
Funny. Yes, I'm glad you said this because I saw my mum. She's over for the month. I mean, goes back to Charlotte mid-Jan. The first thing she said was, geez, your hair's gone darker, hasn't it? It's like, well, it's probably because I haven't had any sun.
That's it, mate. Yeah, you're missing that warm Aussie sun. There we go. No temptation to get the chop. Go for the old,
I need to get a haircut. It's been since early November.
You keeping the mullet? The mullet staying?
Yeah.
Yeah? Sure?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, of course.
How long for? Half a year? 6 months?
No, it's funny because people who don't usually tune into my deadline streams, these are the answers I want to hear in terms of live questions. I don't really let it out that much. And I just reckon it's gone pretty well. So who knows? Maybe another year.
Interesting, mate. Yeah. We shall see. But yeah, that is it, folks. Obviously for this week, deadline wise. Hope as we said before, you made your moves. Good luck for the game week. Me and Chaz have really enjoyed the deadline stream today. If you like what you've seen or what you've heard, drop us a little follow or subscribe and give us a like on the channel. It would be really appreciated. And yeah, that's a wrap, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah. Best of luck, team. And we'll see if we're level on points come Saturday.
Ciao.
Ciao.